Hey Leo, welcome to your weekly forecast for August 31st through September 6th. We are having our fall theme here. We're going to see what's happening for the week ahead for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising with this lovely deck here. And then, my darlings, we're going to pull an oracle message for you all from this deck here. So without further ado, Leo, let's see what's going on for you guys. We do have a full moon coming up early in the week, and full moon energies can bring out some emotions, some emotional intensity. Full moons are an excellent time for releasing. We're going to see what's coming up, though. We're going to see what's coming up and what you all might be dealing with in the week ahead. Even though this reading is for August 31st through September 6th, whenever you're meant to hear these messages, Spirit will lead you to this video. So even if you fall upon it outside of the date range, there's a message for you here, and welcome. So the first card is Page of Wands. Leo, this is your energy, my darlings. It's that fiery, feisty fire energy. And those of you that watch my readings, you've heard me talk about Page of Wands as a card that I see come up a lot of the times for people who had a lot of responsibilities from a young age. They didn't really get to live, and or they didn't get to have that like young teenager kind of experience because they had to be the parents, or they had to be the caretakers, or they had a lot of responsibilities or a lot of rules. So a lot of the times when I see Page of Wands, it's like coming into this second adolescence. We talk a lot about, you know, working with the inner child and the inner child coming to the surface. But sometimes we forget the inner teenager, right? Sometimes the inner teenager comes out. And that's what I tend to feel with the Page of Wands energy. So I do feel some of you are in that vibe and energy. However, in this week's reading, I feel that for the majority of you, what's going on here with this Page of Wands energy is I just feel some of you are very feisty and like maybe kind of sassy right now. And you're not allowing the opinions of others to deter you or to bring you down. I feel like you've made a decision to do something and you couldn't care less what anybody else thinks about it. And I feel like people are letting you know what they feel about it. Like they're not keeping it a secret. They're letting you know of their disapproval, or they're not agreeing with you, or they might kind of feel like you're being impulsive and you don't even care. Like you don't care so much to where you can't even get angry about it. You're just like, okay, all right. Well, thanks for letting me know, right? But you're feeling very confident, and you're feeling very like you don't care. You don't have anything to prove to anybody, and you're going to do what you want to do. That's like the vibe and the energy that I'm feeling in your energy this week. So the full moon might be making you kind of feisty. You might be feeling like that bolder energy coming to the surface. You might be feeling a little bit impulsive. You might be feeling a little bit spontaneous. Your next card here, Leo, is the Magician, and this is a major arcana card. I'm an 80s baby, so this card always makes me think of like a young Robert Smith from The Cure. I don't know, maybe there should be like an Edward Scissorhands magician or something. Not that Robert Smith was Edward Scissorhands, but similar vibe, you know. The Magician. Okay, so this is a major arcana card. So anytime we have the major arcana cards coming up in my readings, it tells me that you're dealing with a situation where you're coming into a new chapter in your life. You know, something that you came here to learn, something that you came here to manifest. It's a significant time. It's a significant crossroads. It's a chapter of your life that you're coming into. So even though I'm reading for the period of a week, the major arcana energy is going to be around for a while. It's going to last much longer than a week. The Magician is about manifesting, right? The Magician is a card that sometimes comes up when we're at a rock bottom, okay? I can tell you from my experience, there was a time in the very beginning when I was on my very beginning path of, you know, working with cards and doing readings, and I would try to read for myself. And at that time, my life was an absolute dumpster fire. And I kept getting the Magician card. Every time I pulled cards for myself, I kept getting the Magician card. And it began to upset me. Like, I'd get mad. I'd get annoyed. I'd use a different deck. I'd get really upset. I'd get really, really upset because I'm like, why does this card keep coming up? Like, I don't feel like things are magical. You know, I don't feel like anything's being created. And from that experience, I learned that this card can sometimes mean that you're at a completely new beginning. You're building something entirely new in your life. And ultimately, it's aligning you. It's aligning you with higher self. It's aligning you with God. It's aligning you with heaven. You know, because the Magician has the message of as above, so below, right? It's that unity. It's, you know, that flow. And the Magician is a card linked directly to manifesting and manifestation. So a lot of you are coming into this manifestation energy. Okay, you're coming into this manifestation energy. You're coming into the energy of being able to work and to create in your life, right? So pay attention to your thoughts, because you are manifesting rapidly right now, whether you realize it or not. So if you're manifesting kind of like on autopilot, you may as well make the effort to focus your thoughts and attentions on what you want to create in your life. You may be seeing a lot of repeating numbers. You may be seeing 1111, 111, 222. That's universe letting you know, hey, you know, pay attention. This is like your energy is being recorded right now. What are you putting out there? You know, so take that opportunity when you see the repeating number to make your wish or to set your intention, right? It's a good opportunity to stay on track mentally, because what you think about, you're going to bring about, okay? That's the energy here with the Magician. Your next card here is the Lovers, right? So, you know what's really interesting? You've got this Gemini energy flowing through twice, because the Gemini can be associated with the Magician as well as a Virgo. Okay, Magician is one of those cards that it can be a couple of signs. And so Gemini is one, Virgo is other. And then you have the Lovers card, which is associated strictly with Gemini. So you have this Gemini energy here repeating twice. So some of you may be coming into an agreement or a partnership with a Gemini, okay? It doesn't have to be romantic. It could be a family member that maybe there's been some beef with or some unresolved situations that might be resurfacing. You may be hearing from a Gemini or having a Gemini reach out to you in this time of release. There might be something that needs to be released with a Gemini, right? Or a boundary with a Gemini, maybe a Gemini at work or something. There could be something that's being dealt with or released. It could be a love or romantic situation, but keep in mind, in the weekly readings, I don't look at love. I apply the cards in the other ways outside of love, because there's so many love readings out there. And I know people still want them, and I still do them, but I do them separately. Okay, if you want a love and romance reading, you can click on the love reading linked in the description. But right now, we're going to look at this outside of love. So what does the Lovers card mean if we're not talking about love? What a lot of people don't know is when the tarot was first put together, the sixth major arcana card was not called the Lovers. That was not the name of this card. It was called the Choice. Some decks called it the Decision or the Sacrifice, because the Lovers card is a card about making a choice. What do you want? You want to go this way or that way? What are your deal breakers? What's important to you? What's more important, right? So it's about a choice and a decision. And so you're going to have to get clear about what you want and what direction you want to go in, okay? A lot of you are having an awakening about your romantic connections or your love life, Leo. And I do feel like some of you are awakening and ascending and coming into a higher vibration. And you're coming into this energy, I feel, where if you are in a relationship, this is the time that you're going to have to really talk to the person about what do you believe? What are you committed to? Like what what do you see for the future? What do you, and I don't mean in terms of like, where is this relationship going? That's not what I mean. I mean in the terms of like, who are you? Like, who are you in your core, in your soul, in your spirit? Where do you see yourself going? Like, you're trying to maybe kind of see the substance of the person. And if you're single, I feel like a lot of you are choosing to kind of stay that way right now because you're very focused on what you're trying to create in your life and the spiritual energy that you're trying to align with. That, like, if somebody is not vibing with that or aligning with that, you don't want the relationship. I feel like a lot of you are getting to a very deep place, and a lot of you are going through a really deep awakening, and you're seeing a lot of things that other people aren't seeing right now. And so you're taking relationships and interactions very seriously. You might even be looking at your job very seriously. Like, life is short. There's a lot going on right now. Is this a good place for me to be at? Is there some other way that I can be of service or helping people right now? Is there some other kind of work I want to do? Can I afford to leave this job to be at home more, or to be with family, or to get certain preparations in order? Okay, so some of you might be even looking at, you know, if it's worth to stay in a work situation, not because you're not being compensated fairly, but because you're like, is this the best way for me to be using my time right now? So I feel like a lot of you are making choices or decisions in that way as well. Your next card here, Leo, is the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords is a card that says we have to be cautious. Remember how you had the Magician card coming up? And the Magician card, I was saying you might see repeating numbers. So Spirit is trying to remind you, hey, what are you thinking about? What are you putting out there? Because you're manifesting it right now. You're kind of getting that nudge from the universe to like make sure that you're staying on track with thinking positively. And Nine of Swords is a card about fear, right? It's a card when we're thinking about the worst case scenario of all the things that could go wrong, of all of our fears. It's insomnia. It's sleepless nights. And let's face it, my darlings, you guys know I try to keep things light and positive, but there's a lot to be worried about right now. There's a lot going on that we can be very concerned about, regardless of what your political beliefs are. I think one thing that people are united in right now, regardless of what they believe politically or religiously or where they live in the world, this is global. This is all over the world. You know, people have some fears right now. People are scared about the future. And Nine of Swords is saying be careful of the self-fulfilling prophecy. The self-fulfilling prophecy is when we spend so much time worried about, oh my gosh, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? That we call it into our life. So when we see the Nine of Swords, it's saying stop doing that. Okay, you thought about a situation, you thought about a scenario that you're afraid about. What if this happens? Ask yourself, okay, what if this happens? What are some things that I can do to prepare for it? What's in my power right now that I can do that might make me ready for that situation or protect me in that situation? What are some steps I can take? Everything else outside of that, that's not in your control or not in your power, you have to hand over to God. This is the time to make your relationship with God. This is your time to get into the habit of praying and to say, all right, God, here's what I'm afraid about. You know, I'm doing the best that I can on my end. There's a lot that I can't control about it, and that's what I'm handing over to you. And I thank you for, you know, handling it, for taking care of it, and, you know, be able to kind of just hand that over to God and don't obsess about it. Do what you can. Do what's in your power and surrender the rest. This is what you're going to have to practice doing in this point in time, Leo, right? Like, I could be really, really afraid of getting into a car accident. Is that a logical fear? Yeah, it's a logical fear. You're not afraid that you're going to get bitten by a shark while walking down the street, right? Unless you're in a flood, that's probably not going to happen. It's not possible. you know, so yeah, getting in a car accident is an actual logical fear. It makes sense to have that fear. There are certain things that I can do. I can make sure I have good insurance. I can make sure that I'm making those insurance payments and doing what I need to do to come up with money for that insurance. I can make sure that I'm keeping up with my car maintenance, that it's not going to have any kind of malfunctions. And I can be very cautious while I'm driving, right? I can be sure that I'm really paying attention to the road and I'm paying attention to the drivers around me, and I'm being cautious when I change lanes and when I turn. But what I can't control, right? Like, I live in the city and there's lots of cars in the city. I can't control what the person is doing behind me. I can't control, they're going to be looking at their cell phone or texting and they're not going to see that the light turned red and they can rear end me. I have no control over that. There is nothing that I can do to stop that kind of a situation. And that's where you have to hand over, you know, your faith, or you know, that, you know, okay, God, I'm giving this to you to protect me, to watch over me, to keep this from happening. But if it is your will for it to happen, and if you allow it to happen, thank you for helping me to trust that it's happened for a reason, or that things are going to work out for the best anyway, that there's going to be a blessing in it somehow, right? To just be in that energy of just handing it over and just having faith and trust that whatever is going to happen, God is going to take care of it to make it happen in the way it's meant to happen. So surrender, surrender, surrender. Okay, my darlings? We're going to see what's coming up for you with your oracle message here. And as always, I encourage you to watch your moon sign and rising sign videos, because some weeks those are going to resonate with you more than others. You may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do for you. If you want to click on the Calendly link in the description of the video, you can schedule a private reading with me there. Wow. Okay. Where's your card? It's not wanting to pop up. You guys, okay, there it is. See, you guys who watch my videos know I wait for that card to pop up. Here it is. All right, here's your card, Leo. And what you all have is gratitude. Focus on what you have, because that's going to manifest more of it. Be in your gratitude. Sure, there might be concerns or worries that you have right now. Sure, there might be things that you're trying to get or make happen that you need that haven't happened yet. But if you can focus on what you have and feel happy about it, you're going to be able to create more of it. It's going to multiply, right? Like little bunny rabbits. Man, rabbits can multiply very, very quickly. And the energy of gratitude is the same, right? The more that you can be grateful for what you have, the more you're going to create of it, the more of it you're going to call into your life. I saw a really beautiful saying in a store the other day. It was like one of those inspirational, like little like house decorations things, and it said like you can put on your wall, not a painting, I don't know what to call it, but you know, just like a little plaque or something to put on a wall. And it said, remember the days that you prayed for what you have now. Because there was a time in which you didn't have what you have now, right? Or maybe you had more in the past than you do today, but at least you have what you do have. And there was a time that you didn't have that. So focus on that. Focus on what you have and be grateful for what's going well, and focus on that and building upon that. Don't look at the void. Don't look at the lack, because you're just going to magnify that. And that's not what you want to magnify. So pay attention to where you're putting your focus, right? That was the whole message with the Magician card. And it's coming up again here with the gratitude. So I thank you all for watching, Leo. Be sure to check out your channeled angel messages that are linked in the description of the video. If you're looking for love and romance readings, there's also love readings linked in the description of the video. And don't forget the daily messages on Amethyst Angellight, Instagram, and Facebook. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. I'm wishing you all a wonderful, wonderful week. Take care, my dears.